bonjour. We will now start with lesson 3, which is les copains, which means the friends. I will first translate the dialogue for you and then we will move on to the grammar section. Salut Manuel, tu es anglais? Hi Manuel, you are English? No, je suis français. No, I am French. Et Caroline and Caroline. Manuel et moi, nous sommes français. Manuel and me, we are French. Voilà le professeur. There is the professor. Le prof, il est français. The professor, he is French. So just a few 2-3 vocabulary, I will write it here. Of course, these words are given to you in the chapter, but please, these are smaller words, one tends to ignore it. So memorize it well. Et means and. Voilà means there is or there are. It means both. OU is or. So these are some of the words which one tends to generally ignore. A, the pronunciation is not et, it's a, and viola, which means there is or there are. U is or, me is but. One more word which I can give you is voici. Here is or here are. So a lot of times in your unseen comprehension or even in your grammar section, they will ask you give the opposite of. So remember, voila and voici are opposites because voila means there is or there are and voici means here is or here are. It means both. So if you are pointing to one object, then the translation will be here is. If it's multiple, here are. But the word remains the same. Voici, voila. They are opposites. We will learn more about this in lesson 4 and 5. We will now learn one of the most important verbs in French, which is être. It means to be in English. So as kids, all of you would have memorized the table of 2, 3, 4 for maths. Similarly, you have to memorize the conjugation of this verb. It is one of the most basic and important verbs in French. You cannot go wrong. So in class 5, for example, if you go wrong in your table of 2, it would be a surprise to your maths teacher. So similarly, in French, you need to memorize this conjugation. It is extremely important. So être, it means to be in English. So how we say I am, you are, he is, she is, we are, you are, they are, they are. Now how do we say this in French? So it would be je suis, tu es, il est, elle est, nous sommes, vous êtes, ils sont, elles sont. I will once again repeat the pronunciation. Je suis, tu es, il est, elle est, nous sommes, vous êtes, ils sont, elles sont. So this is I am, you are, he is, she is, we are, you are, they are, they are. You have to memorize the conjugation. There is no shortcut to this. We will now learn the indefinite articles in French, les articles indéfinis. Now, what are your indefinite articles in English? It is generally a or an. So in English, in front of vowels we use an, and in front of consonants we use a. So we say a boy, a girl, or an apple, etc. Now if I have to talk about more than one object, then in English, an apple, I will say some apples, a boy, some boys, etc. So how have I made it plural? By adding an s, and a and an changes to some, and after the noun I add an s to make the noun plural. Now when you have been memorizing the vocabulary in lesson 1 and 2, you would have noticed there are articles which are written in front of nouns, you or they. Now what do these mean? So a is in front of masculine singular nouns. Yun is in front of feminine singular nouns, and then there is they, which is the plural. Now what do you mean by masculine singular, feminine singular and plural? For example, let's take a textbook. A textbook is un livre. So when I write un livre, it means livre is masculine singular. If you remember, right at the beginning I said French is more similar to Hindi than English. In Hindi, everything has a gender, striling, pulling. Same thing applies in French. Now how do you know whether something is masculine or feminine? You have to memorize it. So in front of livre, if you see a, that means livre is masculine. In general, a noun which ends with an e is feminine in French, but this rule applies to about 60 to 70% of the nouns. So there are a lot of exceptions. For example, you take une maison, which means a house. It doesn't end with an e, but it is still feminine. Livre ends with an e, but it is still masculine. So how do you know something that is masculine or feminine? You have to memorize it. So whenever you are memorizing your vocabulary, memorize it along with these articles. These articles indicate the gender of the noun. Un livre means it is masculine singular. Une maison, that means maison is feminine. So feminine singular. Let's take the word for a pen. Pen is stylo. So a stylo, a pen. Let's take school. Une école, that means school is feminine. Now when I have to describe more than one object, say un livre is a textbook, I want to say some textbook. So the plural of a and une both changes to des. It doesn't matter whether it is masculine or feminine. The plural is des. The pronunciation is not des, it is they. So un livre will become they, and livre with an s. Just like in English, if I say a textbook and I translate it in a plural sentence, it will become some textbooks. So after a textbook, I've added an s. So in French, we generally make a noun plural by adding an s. So a will change to they, and the noun, which is livre with an s. A stylo will become des stylo. Une maison, so une will change to they, and maison with an s. Une école, une will become they, and école with an s, des écoles. So once again I will repeat the indefinite articles, which is or an in English, and the plural is some. So in front of masculine singular nouns, you will write a. These indicate the gender of the noun. So in front of a noun, if a is written, that means that particular noun is masculine. In case une is written, that means that particular noun is feminine. So un livre, so livre is masculine. A stylo means stylo is masculine. Une maison means maison is feminine. Une école means école is feminine. And if I have to speak about more than one noun, one object, how do I make it plural? A and yun will change to they. Both of these will change to they in plural. This translates into some in English. A textbook, some textbooks. A pen, some pens. A house, some houses. A school, some schools. So, a and yun will change to they. You will copy the noun and then add an s. So, in all of these, we have added an s to make it plural. In school, in your exam, they can give you a question wherein they'll give you a noun and you have to make it plural. So, let's take some example. If they give you yun gom, which means an eraser, they give you yun fi, they can give you a which means a man. If they ask you to make it plural, you will change yun to they and gom with an s. Yun fi, which means a girl, you will change yun to they and fi with an s. A which means a man, you will change a to they and with an s. This is one way in which they can give you the question in the exam. There is another way. Let's take some more examples. So, if you have memorized your vocabulary well, you will understand the meaning of all these words. This is boys, apples, female, cake. Now, one way they will ask you the question, they will give you the nouns like this and they will say fill it with the indefinite article. Now, if you see an s at the end of the noun, that means these nouns are plural. So, straight away your answer would be D-E-S, they. Even if you don't know the gender, you are saved in case of plural because the answer will be D-E-S, they. Now, femme, which means a female, common sense says obviously it will be feminine. So, in this case, your answer will be yun. Gato, which means a cake, it's a masculine noun. If you've studied your vocabulary well, you know in the textbook they've written it as a gato. So, your answer would be U-N. If we were to take some more examples, maison is a house, cahier means notebook, crayon is your pencil. So, maison, if you have memorized the vocabulary well, you know it's feminine, so your answer should be yun. Cahier, if you memorized it well, you know it's masculine, a cahier. And crayon, if you see ends with an s, so that means this will be D-E-S. If it was without the s, then crayon is masculine, then your answer would have been a. So, this is another way that they will ask you the question in your exam. So, it is important that whenever you memorize your vocabulary, you memorize it along with the article. In the book, they would have given you in the bracket like this: masculine singular, feminine plural, etc. So, the full forms are these: masculine singular, feminine plural, feminine singular. So, in case if they've given you the word like this, they crayon, then this is some pencils, and in the bracket they would have written like this. That means it's a masculine noun, so the singular form would be a crayon. So far we have learned that you make a noun plural by adding an s. Now always remember, if there is a rule in French, then there are exceptions to that rule. So we will study the two exceptions to this rule. The first one is, if the noun in its singular form ends with S, X or Z, it remains the same in its plural form. So what do I mean? For example, ane, which means a nose, it is ending with a Z. So if you want to say some noses, your a will change to they and your ne remains the same. You will not add an S to it. So remember, if the noun ends with S, X or Z in its singular form, it remains the same in its plural form. This means sun in English, sun as in S-O-N, not S-U-N, beta. So a sun, and you want to say some sons, a will change to they, feast remains the same. There will be not another S in this. If we take one more example, acroa, which means across, a will change to they, and this remains as it is. If it was a feminine noun and it was yun will change to they, but if the noun was ending in S, X or Z, it remains the same in its plural form. You will not add another S to it to make it plural. You will only change the indefinite article from a and yun to they. So this was one exception. I will repeat again. Nouns which end with S, X or Z in their singular form remain the same in the plural form. You will only change your indefinite article a or yun to they. Now there is one more exception to the rule of making it plural. So we've learned so far that you make a noun plural by adding an S, but if the noun is ending with S, X or Z in its singular form, you will not add an S at the end in its plural form. Now there is one more exception. Nouns which end with E, A, U or EU will not take an S in its plural form, it will take an X. Now what do I mean? Let's take an example. A gato, which means a cake. Now if you see, this noun is ending with E, A, U. How will I make it plural? A will become they and gato will take an X in its plural form and not an S. A oiseau, which means a bird, this noun is ending with E, A, U. I'll make it a will become they, oiseau with an X. A fir, which means fire, how will I make it plural? A will change to they, fir with an X. Let's take one more example. A chapeau, which means a hat, a will become they and chapeau will take an X in its plural form. So nouns which end with EAU or EU will take an X in its plural form and not an S. A gato, a will change to they and gato will take an X. A oiseau, a will change to they and oiseau with an X. A fir, a will change to they, fir with an X. A chapeau, a will change to they and chapeau with an X. So please be careful. They will definitely give you these words in the exam and ask you to make it plural. So in the exam, if they give you this and they say fill it with an indefinite article, you know it's ending with an X, that means it's, in this case it's plural. Learn to identify it. So your answer would be they. If it was just this, oiseau, that means your answer would have been a. So learn to identify that in this case it's the plural of this. if they had given you this, that means your answer would be they. If they give you this, means your answer would be a. Once again I'll repeat, nouns which end with eau or eu will take an x in the plural form and not an s. Now there's one expression that you need to know. C'est and ce sont. C'est means it is, he is or she is. Ce sont means they are or these are. This is the singular form and this is the plural form. This is essentially ce plus est, but since there are two vowels together, we will drop this e and that's why it becomes say. And this is ce sont. So this c apostrophe is essentially ce, but because there are two vowels together, it becomes say. So if you are pointing at one object, let's say it's a book, c'est un livre. C'est un livre. But if there is more than one book, we'll say these are some books. Ce sont des livres. So if in the exam they give you c'est un livre and they ask you to make this plural, c'est will become ce sont, un will change to they, and livre with an s. Instead of un livre, let's say it was un gâteau. This is a cake. Un will change to they, gâteau with an x. So this is how you change a sentence from its singular form to its plural form. C'est un gâteau, ce sont des gâteaux. They can even ask you the reverse. They can give you a plural sentence and then ask you to change it into singular. So your ce sont will change to say. You need to know the gender of gâteau because from they you can't make it out. It can be feminine or masculine. But when you memorize your vocabulary, you memorize it along with the articles and you will realize gâteau is masculine. So you will write a and then gâteau without an x. For example, if it was, this is for example, if they can give you c'est un or c'est une maison. This is a house. You will make this une will become they and maison with an s. In the exam, they will ask you certain sentences like je suis grande, I am tall. Make it plural. So of course grande is an adjective and the concept of adjectives we will learn it in the next chapter. But just remember, in a plural sentence, your je will change to nous. Your tu changes to vous. Your il will change to il with an s, and your l changes to ELLES. Je changes to nous, tu to vous, il to il, l to l. If you change the subject pronoun, we've learned the verb être. Don't forget to change the conjugation of the verb. So if the sentence was je suis and you have to change it into plural, it will become nous sommes. Change the conjugation correspondingly. Tu es will become vous êtes. So if you're changing the subject pronoun, change the conjugation of the verb accordingly. Il est will become ils sont, elle est will become elles sont. Now if we look at the exercises which have been given on page 43, the first one, you just have to divide the vocabulary that they have given or the words into whether it's masculine or feminine. So if it is une, it is feminine. If it is a, it is masculine. You just have to look at the article and put it in the correct column. So if in front of the noun a is written, it is masculine. If it in front of the noun une is written, it is feminine. Then in the next one, they have asked you to fill in the blank with the verb être. So you know when you memorize je suis, so je dash américain, so you will fill it with suis. On the next page, page 44, they've asked you to fill in with subject pronouns. Let's see how we do this exercise. So, Pauline dash a bell. Pauline is a girl. So, if you have to replace Pauline with a subject pronoun, L, she. So, your answer would be E-L-L-E. Viola Dennis dash a Français. There is Dennis. Dennis is a boy. Replace it with a pronoun he. He is French. So, your answer would be I-L. Ce sont Dennis et Pascal dash sont Français. There are Dennis and Pascal. Two boys you are talking about. Replace it with a pronoun ILS. They. Je m'appelle Peter. I am talking about my own self. My name is Peter. I am English. Right? So, if I am talking about myself, the subject, and if you look at the conjugation, it's S-U-I-S. So, your answer has to be je. Anish dash a Indian. Anish, he is Indian. Anish, if I replace it with a pronoun IL. Sophia and Leonardo. So, you know this is mixed gender. One girl, one boy. If I have to replace it with a pronoun they. So, ILS. Now, in the exercise 6, mete au pluriel. L-A bell. So, your L, E-L-L-E will become E-L-L-E-S. You will change the conjugation of EST to son, and bell will be with a S. You will change the adjective also and make it plural. So, your B-E-L-L-E will change to B-E-L-L-E-S. Tu es onion, tu es will change to vous êtes. Tu will change to vous. Your ES will change to the corresponding conjugation for vous, and onion will come with a S. You will make the adjectives also plural. Now, how do we do that? We will learn it in the next chapter. But for now, you can just take it as that you will make it S. Why do we do it? We will learn it later. Set yun gom. So, say will become sa son, yun will become they, gom with an S. Set yun français. Say will become sa son, yun with they, français with an S. And je suis étudiant. Je will become nous, and the corresponding conjugation, your suis will change to som, and your étudiant will take a S. I am student, we are students. So, this is how you do it. This is the end of our lesson number 3. Thank you.